As I always say, Mondays are the most boring days starting the week because, of course, some of you have to go to school, some of you have to go to work, some of you just don't want to do anything on a Mondays. Well, luckily for you, I intend to keep your Mondays fun and exciting. So today we're going to do something very, very special. Now, if you guys are either fans of the Yoshi wrestling scene or the Japanese wrestling scene in general, you're just in luck. You are in the right channel because today we're going to be doing some awesome reviews. Now, as you all know, on August 31st, which was the last day of the month of August, MARIGOLD has begun their first ever round robin tournament, the Dream Star Grand Prix. Now, we are still in the early stages, so we will go from A to Z, but however, they do have two shows in one day, an afternoon show and an evening show. So we'll see how that will rolls up. And then we move on with, of course, with the self-produced show by Sareee, or as you knew her back then in NXT, Sareee, with Sareee-ISM Chapter 4. Now, the main event features her teaming up with the icon of stardom, Mayu Iwatani, to take on Veni and Big Hash Chihiro Hashimoto. And then our final review is, of course, this is the first time I ever get to do this one because I never actually seen her first self-produced show early this year. That's right, Unagi Sayaka's first produced show. So I will do two of these reviews, one for this episode, one for the next Unagi Sayaka watch, but I'll explain that later. And then, of course, we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hi, guys. Sorry, I couldn't help it, guys. Sorry. So, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay right here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but from countries like Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world. Pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be here on this episode, we can put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also do real timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also got the Unagi Sayaka watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have set aside. It's time to burn rubber. So let's begin with our very first review, and this is the afternoon show of MARIGOLD's first ever Dream Star Grand Prix. Okay, as you all know, I finally can say this. The G1's done, the 5-star's done, and now the N1. And now we begin with the Dream Star Grand Prix by MARIGOLD. Now, this is their first ever round robin tournament since the formation. Now, I wasn't too sure if they were going to do something like this, but looks like they decided to do it. Not holding against them, but why not? Now, of course, we have two shows. Now, this happened this past Saturday in I forgot where, in Osaka, I believe. But anyway, this one features many wrestlers, of course, involved, including the we do have non tournament matches as well. But I'll get to that. But we do have two shows. The one right now we're reviewing is the afternoon show. So that's what we're starting. So we're doing the afternoon show. Now, our first match is a non tournament match. We have a four-way match. We have Yuki Minami versus Mala Grace versus Komomo Minami versus Chiaki. Now, of course, in this match, you all know that only 3 out of the 4 are not involved in the tournament. One, it is in a tournament, but not scheduled to be in a match until the afternoon. After the till the evening show. But we'll get to that. But yes, the match was okay. But however, Chiaki, who plays dirty, do dirty tricks, pulled the ref when, of course, it seemed like the match was about to be done. But she tried to use the chair in play, but unfortunately, it was Malik Grace with an inverted DDT onto Komomo that picked up the win, and just like that, it was over. Now, for many of you who've seen many of the Stardom events, they always do the introduction who is involved in the tournament. Well, they decided to do the same thing here too with everyone involved. So we had wrestlers like, of course, some of the ones that left Stardom, such as, of course, Utami Yoshida, Mirai, Mai Sakurai, Victoria Yuzuki. Who else was involved? Nane Takahashi, Victoria, Kizuna Tanaka, and various others, including the former at-risk girls, Nagisa Nozaki, and of course we have Nori. So basically we have a great roster involved. But let's get started with our first match. Now, we do have two different blocks. There's the Star League and the Dream League. So I will be going through that and also doing the point system on this one. Now, our first match is part of the Star League. We have the strong and powerful Bozilla versus, of course, Kizuna Tanaka. Now, there's no denying that Kizuna Tanaka is a fantastic wrestler. She has a lot of fighting spirit. But however, when it comes to Bozilla, you know that that's a different story because Bozilla is going to crush her. I mean, I commend Tanaka for attempting to step up against her, but unfortunately, it didn't do any good because she ended up pile drived by Bozilla, giving her first 2 points. So basically, that's how it rolls. Now we jump into the next two matches, part of the Dream League. We have Victoria Yuzuki versus Natsumi Shozuki, our current Superfly champion. Now, of course, many of you might have thought in your heads because, okay, Shozuki is the current Superfly champion. She wins. But you got to remember, Victoria Yuzuki is a very young wrestler who hasn't reached 1 year yet. I mean, we're almost there, guys. Not going to lie. But she's a fantastic wrestler. And not to mention, I loved her work with Kizuna in a tag team setting. And, of course, I like how she was able to hold on tight as possible. But, however, this match ended with a time limit draw of 15 minutes, the very first time limit draw. So each person gets 1 point each. So that's how it ends. Now our next match, we have still in the Dream League, we have Nori from the LL something, this other promotion. She faces against Kyuki Omori. Now, Kyuki Omori, those who know, she's a very tall girl, very impressive. But however, Nori, she is very impressive too. I mean, she has a bit of that martial arts size, but what really got to me is when she did a jumping, spinning kick right in the head, and just like that, she won. I was like, damn, that was cool. So she picked up her first win with 2 points, while Kyuki ended up with 0. Now we jump back to the Star League. We have Mitsa Matsui versus the current United National Champion, Miku Anu. Now, of course, Mitsa Matsui, she's a bit of rebellious. She's not afraid to, pull women's hair or bite people's hands or whatever. But Miku Anu is a force to be reckoned with. Now, this is not the first time these two have ever butt heads. Of course, Miku Anu sometimes like that high and mighty all the time. But Mitsa Matsui is determined to prove her wrong. But unfortunately, Miku Anou put her down, shut her up by applying the Styles Clash, giving her first 2 points. Of course, Mitsu Matsui is at 0. Now we jump back to the Dream League. We have Chika Goto versus the strong and powerful and one half of the Dream Star tag teams, Mirai. So, of course, much like Kyukimori, Chika Goto is a tall, strong girl, but when it comes to Mirai, you know she's strong and powerful. She has a lot of fighting spirit. I mean, who can deny about the type of matches she did back in Stardom? And not to mention, she proved what she can do. But however, um, she had to resort to a different type of tactic. She decided to apply submission in order to, of course, put this one to bed, and that's exactly what she did. So Chika Goto had no other choice but to give up, leaving her with 0 points, but Mirai gaining her first 2 points. Now we jump in back to we continue with more with the Dream League. We have Nagisa Nozaki versus Utami Ayashida. Now, I know many of you might have thought in your heads, or those who haven't seen the match, you would think, okay, Utami Ayashida has in the bag. I mean, yes, I mean, people question this, I mean, for a while. I mean, Sareee does have an excellent point. She was disappointed that why didn't she win after the Crimson Belt, the World Belt? And she's declaring herself as the ace, but so far she hasn't done anything to prove otherwise. Even Julia kind of went in that direction. But however, somehow Nozaki was able to pick up the win when she applied like a version of the Claymore that Drew McIntyre does, picking up her win. And then, of course, in the post match, she asked her if she was okay. I thought you were going to be the ace of Marigold. So basically, that is now being called into question. Now, Nozaki may have walked away with 2 points, while Utami Ayashida ended up with 0. Now, our main event is part of the Star League. We have Mai Sakurai versus Nana Takahashi. Now, those who know this, Nana Takahashi is not an easy wrestler to beat. Now, there have been a handful of wrestlers that were able to beat her in her later years. I mean, don't forget, we were all happy when Waka defeated her, for the first time. And of course, Utami Ayashida was the first one that actually defeated her. But now Mai Sakurai is stepping into that zone. You would think that there was no way Mai Sakurai would pull it off. Well, she actually did when she pulled it off. She applied the STF on multiple occasions because she knows the only way to beat her is by submission. And that's exactly what she did. So the match ended by submission. And of course, she told everybody that she actually did it. She defeated Nana Takahashi. So it's very interesting. So I think many people would question, okay, will Mai Sakurai, just like Utami, will she elevate Marigold? I think that's something we will have to witness when that day comes. But until then, we are now still in the early stages. And of course, Marigold it's still a new promotion. We'll get to that at some point. But right now, we're done with the afternoon show at Marigold. So let's move on with the evening show. Okay, we continue with more with Marigold Dream Star Grand Prix. We're now doing the evening show. Now, as always, we do have the non-tournament matches, so let's get started with those. Our first match, we have a three-way match. We have Molly Grace versus Kizuna Tanaka versus... yeah. No, never mind. It's just a straight-up match. Just a one-on-one match. My bad. So anyway, the match was good. Many of you might have thought that Molly Grace was going to walk out as the win because she has picked up some wins. But however, we cannot deny Kizuna Tanaka, who has been improving since her arrival to Marigold. She applied that finisher she had created, Redream, that allowed her to pick up the win. Our next match, we have a tag team match. We have Yuki Minami teaming up with Koiki Amari to take on Victoria Yuzuki and Mai Sakurai. Now, I know this was going to be an interesting match. However, Of course, Minami and Kyuki attack both Yuzuki and Mai behind their backs just to get the whole thing started. So of course you were gonna think that some capacity that they by attacking them is gonna be an easy way to pick up a win. However, Victoria Yuzuki, who has been very impressive and very skillful, even though of her time she has been wrestling, she picked up the win with the rolling arrow and onto Minami, and just like that, it was over. Now we jump into our uh, Dream Star Grand Prix match. We only have 5 of them. Uh, the first 2 are the Star League. First match, we have Bozilla versus Mitsa Matsui. So this was going to be a challenge for Mitsa Matsui. Like I said, she's a bit of a rebel. Bozilla, she's strong and powerful. That kind of plays out very well. But however, as always, Bozilla picked up another huge win by putting her in a pile driver, giving her the total of 4 points. So right now, she is currently undefeated. Then our next match of the Star League, we have Chiaki versus Miku Anou. Now, of course, Chiaki, we know that she's been using tactics in order to pick up the win. That's exactly what she's been doing the entirety of ever since she came to MARIGOLD, and not to mention align herself with Nagisa Nozaki. Now, that did not work. However, it was, of course, a buzzsaw kick by Miku Anou to pick up the win. And just like Bozilla, she's also undefeated with just 4 points. So basically, in the Dream Star League, we only have Bozilla and Miku Anou undefeated. So I'm sure there's still more from that league that we will see later on, some point this week. Now, our next 3 matches are part of the Dream League. First match, we have Nori versus Mirai. Now, Nori has done a very impressive match. I have to say, she really showcased. Now, Mirai, we cannot deny the fact that she is strong, very high-spirited. She focused her soul into the match. However, you would all thought that one of them has to pick up a win, but unfortunately, it ended in a time limit draw after 15 minutes. So that means they get 1 point each. So they both are now in a total of 3 points. So basically, in this point, they are nobody's undefeated in this case. Our next match, we have Chika Goto versus Utami Ayashida. Of course, a very surprising loss she had last time with Nozaki, but however, she did a whole lot better on this one. Of course, I think many fans are hoping that Utami Ayashida wins this entire tournament because she's definitely going to be the ace of MARIGOLD. But she was able to pick up the win when she applied a German suplex and giving her her first 2 points, leaving Chiaki Goto still with just 0. Now, our main event, we have, of course, Nagisa Nozaki versus Natsumi Shizuki, our current Super Champion. I thought the match was pretty good. Of course, Nagisa Nozaki would definitely try to play dirty, but however, that did not do any well. Shizuki picked up a fantastic win by pinning her, giving her right now with a total of 3 points, with just 1 draw and 1 win, and of course, no losses so far. As for Nozaki, she has 2 points from that. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next part of the tournament. But right now, let's move on with our next review, and I believe this is the self-produced show, Sareee-ISM Chapter 5. Okay, Sareee-ISM Chapter 4. Wow. This is, of course, the 5th self-produced show by Sareee, or as many of you knew her back in WWE NXT, Sareee. So yes, so basically she had a very interesting roster, and of course it opened up with her, of course, doing a promo, greeting the fans, and telling whatever, because there's no English translation. Now, our first match, we have Zaya, who I've seen before. She takes on against Tomoka Inaba. Now, of course, Tomoka Inaba is one of those wrestlers you know who she is. I wasn't too sure where this was going to go, but of course, Tomoka Inaba is completely has a different element. She does have a background in karate, which was useful. Now, I would have assumed that she was going to finish this matchup with, of course, the one shot, one kick. Nope. She did the Michinoku driver, and that was effective. Yes, folks, Maika's not the only one who knows how to do it. So does Tomoka Inaba. You got to remember, Tomoka Inaba and Maika are sisters, not biologically, but in training wise, because they were both trained by Taka Michinoku. Our next match, we have tag team match, and we got the ladies from Evolution, Chi-Chi and Zones. They take on the veterans of Megumi Yabashida and Jaguar and Jaguar Yokota. Now, of course, we have seen how much the Evolution girls have evolved, since their debut, since they picked up wins here and there. But however, of course, you cannot deny the veterancy, since they are the most experienced wrestlers. They know every aspect of what these rookies would do because, of course, they were in their shoes. So that's something I'm sure they would figure it out. But it was, in fact, Jaguar who picked up the win with a crucifix on Zones to pick up the win. Now, our next match, this one is Miku Kane. I recently reported about her that she just joined T-Hearts after she left At-Risk Girls. She faces against Marvelous's very own Miyu Momono. Now, I don't know how this one was going to be because, of course, you got to remember, Miku was, in fact, part of At-Risk Girls. They have girls who pretend to be wrestlers, but they're not actually wrestlers. But Miyu Momono, she is a real wrestler. She knows exactly what she's doing. She picked a pretty impressive win with a springboard missile dropkick, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, we have what you'd like to call a battle of the house fights in the female setting. We have a three-way. We have Yu versus Kurumi Hiragi versus Kario Itu, also one of course, someone that was involved in the training of both Sareee and Natsupoi. So, of course, this was going to be a very interesting matchup. Of course, these ladies will go all the way, no holding back. That's something that's been well documented. But it was, of course, Ito with a foot stomp onto Hiragi to pick up the win. Now, our main event, Benny Shihiro Hashimoto versus the icon Mayu Iwatani and Sareee. Now, many of you may ask yourselves, can Mayu Iwatani and Sareee coexist? You got to remember, these ladies are champions. Of course, Mayu is, in fact, the IWGP Women's Champion. Sareee is the current Beyond the Sea and the MARIGOLD World Champion. So basically, it sets it all. Of course, there are some great moments between those two. We know that Big Hash, she's a strong individual. Don't forget, the first show that Sareee produced, she lost to Big Hash herself, but she got her retribution on the second. And of course, now this is a tag team setting. She teams up with Veni, who's a much vicious wrestler, very dangerous. But Sareee can be very dangerous too, because she applied the Unagi suplex, and that's how she picked up the win. And after that, she built up a new promo. And then when she had a surprise visit from her BFF, many of you know her, of course, Natsupoi. Yes, those two are best friends. And they gave us the news, and I found out that this news was, in fact, that they're starting a YouTube channel together. Yep. So they're going to be doing a YouTube channel together. I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do. I mean, ever since Sareee came back and Natsupoi's been talking to her, I felt like their friendship has been so inseparable. So I can't wait to see that. So I think that's pretty much with Sareeism. Let's move on with, of course, our last and final review, Unagi Sayaka's produced show. Okay, Unagi Sayaka's produced show called "The Lord is Crazy When I Hear Word Summer Festival, My Blood Boils." That's a very long title. But anyway, of course, this match started up with a very interesting tag match. Unagi teams up with, of course, Marvelous' very own Takumi Iroha to take on Shin Sakura Iroda and of course, the founder and Takumi's mentor, Shigazo Nagayo. I don't know how this match was going to be, but I knew that this was going to be interesting because, of course, it's not the first time that Unagi has to deal with, the shenanigans. Don't forget, she does this thing on the butthole. But the one thing that was funny how this match ended was surprisingly, that kissed the referee. Yes, she kissed him, and then she was like about the days. Like, you ever seen one of those movies where either the guy or girl when they get kissed and they just faint? Well, she did that with Unagi. She fainted and pinned her, and of course Unagi's like, "What the hell?" And of course Takumi and Nagi were like talking about her, like she seems happy about it. I don't know if they're trying to make her blush, but I thought it was funny. Now, our next match is a very how do we put this? Unorthodox type of death match. Well, it's not death, you know what I mean, but this was called a healthy Sandos death match. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Well, you have to wear one of these. But apparently, there's something in them that's going to hurt. Basically, you have to wear them. But if you somehow let them slip, there's going to be a problem. So it's kind of like a 10 count. So they have to go through an amount of pain. Like, oh boy. So they all came out barefoot because they had to wear these. And I thought it was so funny. Not to mention, I wonder how they're going to deal with the pain. And the moment I saw they were like they're doing when they're running through the ropes, they were trying to take it slow, like that one dude that I'd seen on in various Japanese independent promotions, but I thought it was too darn funny. Not even Atsupo was, Saori Anou was not even able to do the pottering, but it was Hamna who picked up the win on Takase, so I thought it was really fun. I'm like, wow, this is a very interesting match. Now, our next match, we had a very interesting one. We have Super Sandango Machine taking on Saki, dressing up like Unagi. Now, this match ended in no contest, but all of a sudden it just turned into a 2-on-1 handicap. So Saki teamed up with Unagi, the actual Unagi, and things got a little out of hand. Unagi was brought a mask of Super Sandango Machine and all this and that, but he was the one who picked up the win by pinning her. So I thought it was very interesting. I wasn't too hype about the match. Now, our next match, we have Takayuki Oiki versus Kengo Mashino and Daisuke Sekimoto. Now, I don't know what this happened, but apparently Yuki, who dresses up like a cop, brought the handcuffs. I don't know what the hell was all about, but however, it was of course Sekimoto who picked up the win with the German suplex. Things got a little heated because later on Mashiro was trying to handcuff himself with Sekimoto's like, I'm not doing that crap. So he just walked away. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting 8-woman tag match. We have, of course, Aruka Umasaki, Aoi Misakagura, and Yuki Mashiro taking on Dash Shizako, Hiroyi Matsumoto, Chiyako Nagashima, and Kyoko Inoue. So I thought the match was pretty good. I mean, not to mention you have like some wrestlers with you may have seen a lot. I mean, we have Uraki and Kyoko from Diana, Yuki Mashino from Ice Ribbon, some girls from the Sundies, and of course freelancers. I mean, and GTO, of course. That's pretty cool to have a very variety. But in this match, it was of course Kyoko Inoue who picked up the win when she applied a sit-down power bomb on Umasaki, allowing herself to pick up the win. Now, our next and final match, our main event, is a hardcore tag team match. We have Minoru Fujita takes on one of the most well-recognized wrestlers in the deathmatch wrestling scene, Jun Kasai, and they take on Murder Grandpa himself, Minoru Suzuki, and he teams up with Unagi. Now, I know some of you thinking, for real? Unagi teamed up with Murder Grandpa? Yes, folks, I'm not lying. I wish I could make this up, but I was not. I know those two have talked before, not to mention Suzuki has been annoyed by her on a few occasions, but no. But however, Unagi took it like a champ. She was even bleeding, if you guys believe that. Yes, she went through all kinds of weaponry, the tables, the ladders, or whatever weaponry they can find. She went through all of it. But however, it was of course Jun Kasai who did like an underhook pile driver on her through a chairs, and just like that, it was over. I mean, it was a disappointing loss, but however, she wasn't gonna back down no matter what. And of course, the post-match promo and all this and that. But however, they actually decided to celebrate Unagi's birthday, and she revealed that she is 38 years old. I thought like she was 36 or something, but no. But yeah, so she said she's not afraid. But that's not the excellent news we discovered. Now, many of you may or may remember I talked about this when Unagi did her first self-produced show, that she was going to do it in Korakuen Hall. Now, many of you would say that's a very ambitious thing for her to do, because many people who have done self-produced shows would have done it in Shinkiba or Shinjuku. That's what I thought she was going to do, but however, she decided to go to Korakuen Hall, and of course she did it again. But later, she just revealed next year on April 26th, she's going to do another self-produced show, but this is one of the most ambitious and goals she's ever going to do. And that goal, her next self-produced show will be next year, and wait for it, and for the record, it's not Tokyo Dome. It's Ryogoku. I'm like, what? I'm like, how in the hell did she pull that off? I mean, she wants to do a self-produced show in Tokyo Dome. Don't get me wrong. But this is very ambitious of her. I mean, say what you want about Unagi, but she has a goal, and she sticks to that goal. That is what I like about her. I mean, yes, people often said she was too old to wrestle, but she has goals which she wants to do, and that is very amazing out of her. I can't wait to see it. And of course, she did ask Minoru Suzuki, will he be available around that time? Of course he will. I mean, you think he's gonna say no? But but I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. So I'm so excited for next year. So I think that's pretty much it with this show with Unagi. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So this is what we have. So let's begin with some updates on the upcoming events from the promotions. Now we do have two from GCW. One is from the bad one that will take place on the 14th September in Detroit. It was announced that Brandon Kirk will take on Crazy King. And then later on the 21st of September, I believe, yes, for back-to-back in Hartford, Connecticut, Matt Cardona will take on the goddess Mega Bane. And then, as you know, we do have, of course, a RevPro show, the Global Wars, taking place on October 19th. It was revealed that the undisputed British heavyweight title will be defended. Lou Jacobs defends his belt against a former champion, and he's a current New Japan star, and that is the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii. Now on to some developments. Now, many of you have been questioning where's been Killer Kelly. Well, it just revealed that she's the reason we haven't seen her for quite some time. It was foretold that she and her, I don't know if it's her boyfriend or husband, Myron Reed, they're expecting their first child together. You can see the baby bump. So congratulations, guys, on your first baby. Now, Taiji Ishimori has revealed that he wants to have a match against Darby Allin in Wrestle Dynasty at the Tokyo Dome. So I don't know if Darby will respond to it, but I would say I would love to see that match. Would you? Me too. Now, PW Insider has revealed something very interesting about Hijo de Vikingo. We haven't seen him since he injured himself. This is what they report. That he's starting to take bookings again in the United States, so he extremely is close in returning to the ring. so it's only a matter of time till he gets back. I'm looking forward to it, so I'm sure many of you are too. So we'll see what happens. So whoever is going to be the first bookings, we will pay attention to that. So right now, we'll just end things here and call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Coming up, as you know, we are now entering the aftermath of NXT. So we're No Mercy. I can't wait to see what's going to happen, because I think many of us want to see if she does show up, and that is, of course, Julia, who has confronted none other than Roxanne Perez. So we'll talk more about that at some point. I haven't decided if there's going to be other reviews, but we'll go from there. But we'll leave it as that. And until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.